dogs, man. Dude, what's with the barfy sounds? No need to be like herking up little orange pieces of plastic. What are you doing over there? Hello, everybody. The big dog's currently trying to work up his lunch. Got the monkey dog. And got what Hungry Caveman and Donnell sent me the most amazing shirt with monkey butt and Chalupa Batman on it. No big dog. You don't get to be on a shirt. I don't know if I can wear any other shirt ever again. This is, look at her. A monkey butt on one arm. Got Chalupa Batman on the other. This is fantastic. They're all over me. It's just, they're everywhere. Look at it. Oh, this is glorious. I didn't know these things were possible. This is like the coolest gift ever. I love going to the P.O. Box. It's the most magical thing. All right. How about this? Woo! Guess what? Guess what? I'm turning off the intro. That's 5 shows in a row. We are at a new world record for the number of intros I managed to turn off in a row. So, bring on all the cheering. There we go. Let's see here. Thing. So just popped into the news, like right before it came on, is the fact that Plotkin apparently is going to wind down Melvin. And he's going to wind it down, give everybody their investment back at par, which I don't think they can afford to do, and start a new hedge fund. Because, you know, he did such a great job with the one he had. So that's happening. Also what's happening is Netflix has fallen off a cliff. They lost subscribers for the first time ever, and they're expected to lose millions more this coming quarter. And their stock price has dropped, what, like 75% since November? But in just last week, like 50%. It's crazy. Then somebody pointed out that like the entire executive leadership of Netflix is all BCG guys. So, you know, I wonder if that's why Netflix all of a sudden is making a whole bunch of terrible decisions. Dude, seriously, what's with the barfing sounds over there? It's disgusting. You're so big and it's so stinky when you do that. And so, you know, basically look at every company that's got someone from BCG in charge of it and buy a put on them if you want to make a bunch of money. No. Dude, seriously, what is it? You just hurl or don't hurl. Make up your mind, man. The sounds are disgusting. And I hope they're not getting picked up on the microphone because they are... Okay. Yes, BCG is evil. And just, like... If you work for a company and someone from BCG is part of executive leadership, count your days, man. That's what it seems like. And then what's the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, the new rules, NSCC, Rule 10 and 801. These it's like similar Rule 10 they had presented last year, where rather than liquidating a hedge fund of all its assets and using that to buy things, the hedge fund can get a loan if they use all their assets as collateral. This is just a dark pool way of transferring these assets, because whoever they transfer them to for the loans have to sell them anyway to be able to pay off the cash that they gave to those folks. Because once you have to give up all your assets for a loan, there's no way you're ever going to be able to repay your loan. You're toast. You have no assets. You have nothing. And then the other rule is the SFT blah, blah, blah stuff, which is basically sort of replacing an FTD with a different IOU, which is kind of stupid and can kicking. But I don't think they can get any of this stuff approved in time to make a difference for any GameStop dividend. So they may not have this stuff ready in time. We'll see. I'm not too worried about any of it. Somewhere along the way, someone's going to lose their shirt, and it better not be this shirt. Because this shirt's fantastic. Thank you so much. I love it. I just look at that little monkey dog right there. Oh, she's such a sweetie. Aren't you just a little sweetie dog? Yes. A little caboose right there, always in view. Get a shot of your good side there. Did I have anything else to talk about? I think that was it. I think that's the big things that I was going to mention right off the bat. All right. J-Dog, dang it, should have grabbed some Netflix puts. Yeah, man. If you had bought long-term puts that were in the money in November, that were due sometime around now, you would have made like, what? Like 40 grand off each one of those? That's not too shabby. That's pretty darn good. Pulling 40 grand off each one of those things. So yeah, you could have made some serious moolah with puts. Even just last week, you could have made, a few $1,000s per put. Like $8,000 per put, something like that. Not too shabby. I'll be bullish on a Netflix call. From J-Dog. Javier, Houston, what's up? Is Melvin Capital done? Don't forget to turn off the intro. Intro is off. Suck it. Yeah, Melvin's toast. If they're talking about unwinding, they're definitely unwinding. Maybe that's why Capital, 0.72 Capital and Citadel wanted their money back. Because they're like, you're done, buddy. Time to pack it up. Brandy Vales, leave the intro on. I want to hear the new cussing. Not so lucky. You only get it if I don't want you to get it. Or no, that's what it means. Whatever. B-Ball 3710. Can you explain the importance of bonds to the economy and why they exist? Well, I mean, bonds exist for a lot of reasons, but mostly because folks can't pay for them without them. So, let's say you want to build a bridge. You are a local government, you have a river or a body of water you need to cross, and you need to build a bridge. And so you talk to some consultants, talk to some contractors and some engineers, and go, okay, how much is this bridge going to cost me? And they're like, it's going to cost you $1.5 billion. And you're like, oh, my community only raises $100 million a year in taxes. There's no way we can pay for a $1.5 billion bridge. We're going to have to float a bond. So you talk to a big financial institution and you say, hey, we're going to make a municipal bond and we're going to sell this bond and we're going to raise $1.5 billion to pay for this bridge. And these bonds, they might have, let's say, 3% interest or something and get paid off over 30 or 40 years. So you sell those bonds, they mature after 30 or 40 years, means they're paid off at the end of 30 years. And that's how you pay for that bridge. Just like if you can't afford a car, you take out a car loan. Same type of thing. Car loan is just financed through one person. Bonds are generally financed through tons of investors that happen to invest in those things. Now, corporations do bonds. Banks do bonds. Governments do bonds. All sorts of bonds can be made from different origins. But they're all basically to raise money to do something kind of specific. So it might be, say Amazon sells a bunch of bonds so that they can raise money to build, a fleet of cargo planes, right? So they're like, okay, we make a lot of money as Amazon, but we don't quite have the $10 billion cash on hand to invest into this. And we don't want to spend $10 billion up front because if we spend that $10 billion, we can't make any further money off of it. Like say the S&P 500 is growing at 20% a year or something. You can sell those bonds, pay 3% a year, and at the same time make your 25% off the rest of your cash that's sitting in a holdings account or whatever. So they're used as these big investment vehicles. With the federal government, the U.S. Treasury bonds are super important because they help us pay for the funding of the government because we don't tax billionaires enough, so we've got to borrow money to pay for all of our goods and services and weapons and everything else. And this debt is the most valuable debt because this is the type of debt you can borrow against. So people who hold these bonds can now take out loans and make investment plays and do other things. It is very rock solid collateral. So governments all over the world own U.S. debt because it's a solid asset. So, France, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Canada, China, all these countries own U.S. debt, including big banks and hedge funds and institutions and all these things. They also hold U.S. debt because there's $28 billion of it. And they can use that to make all sorts of other plays because it's a solid collateral you can borrow against and get quick cash for. So it's like borrowing on borrowed stuff, and it just keeps going and going and going. Yeah. Okay. Peachy Sunday, Houston Tonk, will you still buy a Netflix put for the next month, or is it going to go up? Feels like retail sold out and it has not happened yet. Really hard to gauge. Like, Acker, whatever his name is, he apparently sold off everything and took a $400 million loss on it. So that may have been a big reason why it dropped. But they're still a viable company. They still, make like billions a quarter. Something like 150 million households around the world subscribe. That's a lot of money. $20 a month. So that they're bringing in a ton of money. So I don't think they're dead yet. BCG may be trying to kill them further, but they're still viable. They have just a bunch more competition now, though, and a lot of that competition is a lot cheaper. Apple TV is a quarter of the price. Hulu's cheaper. Disney Plus and Hulu together is like half the price of Netflix. HBO's half the price. Amazon comes basically free as long as you have a Prime account, which means, if you're getting like free shipping on stuff, you can watch all the Top Gear you want. So they're up against some stiff competition, and they're the most expensive one in the bunch. So their solution is start doing or offer a lower tier with commercials, and fuck that. Like, why pay for anything with commercials? The commercial should be paying for it. So they're going to have to lower their prices. They're going to have to invest in third seasons and beyond for shows because they have a history of getting 2 seasons of a show and then canceling it. Because after the second seasons, when people start to demand big contracts for doing these shows, and they don't want to pay it. But the problem is, at the end of these second seasons, they leave everybody on these giant cliffhangers, and then nothing ever gets resolved, and it just pisses off viewers. So they may have to just bite the bullet and pay people some good money for second, third, fourth seasons. And they're going to have to rely on providing a good product, which when cost cutting comes into place, it's really hard to do because things are just going to snowball from there, and it's just going to being like, shit rolls downhill. So that's what I think we're thinking. Andrew Stewart has got some coordinates for me. What? Here. Bring up. Oh, one sec. My Google Earth wasn't on. Come on, Google Earth. Do your thing. There it goes. All right. Google Earth. Google Earth. There you are. Bam. Where are we going, Andrew? We're going to Italy. We're going to the Caldera, Mount Vesuvius. Is that where we are? Yeah, Mount Vesuvius. Is there a particular reason that we are right here, Mount Vesuvius, inside the ancient caldera? I think these destroyed little trees here. Boom. All right. We're inside the caldera on the current cone of Mount Vesuvius, which is, folks, a supervolcano. So this is a supervolcano complex. Basically, all of Naples is a giant supervolcano. There are volcanoes within the volcano, but you can see here, this is the old slopes of Vesuvius before it blew its mind, kind of Mount St. Helens style. It did a big lateral explosion to the south here. But if you look around, this is basically the caldera for the ancient volcano. And there's a couple of calderas here for other cones that have formed off of this supervolcano. And so this is a giant caldera for a supervolcano that's basically equivalent size of Long Valley or Yellowstone. And if this were to erupt, it would send the entire Naples metropolitan area, which is 1.5 million people, basically into outer space. And there was some rumblings a few years ago. Everyone was like, "Oh, is that deep magma for the caldera, the supervolcano?" And then it managed to, not erupt, which is A-okay. Yeah, you can see Pompeii down here got wiped out from when this whole face of the volcano blasted off and wiped them all out. But it will have normal eruptions here, and you may get over thousands of years these big old pit craters. You can see them all over the place in the landscape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. Probably 11 there. So just on this side of the city is at least 11 ancient volcanoes. These bays probably represent volcanic complexes as well. There's probably stuff underwater here. These harbors are probably cones for volcanoes. This entire island is a volcano. There's lots out here. So, if you ever want to get a free space flight, just wait for warnings of the supervolcano of Naples going boom. And just go to Naples and ride that up into space. Be fantastic. Meow meow, you're late. That's two demerits. Any chance the margin calls are not performed because the banks want to avoid being vaporized? I don't think they'll have that option. I don't think they'll be able to avoid it. I think that the assets under management are going to be so tiny in comparison to what they owe that it's just going to be like they're going to have to and just rely on the Federal Reserve and the Treasury to bail them out. I think that's their only play. Those obligations may get put away into those crazy derivatives that we're seeing for 15-year-old, 17-year-old mortgage-backed securities. But I don't think they can avoid the margin calls in the end. Sin Chan, Houston, happy birthday. Love the show. What shenanigans can we expect around GME dividend time? I've been trying to figure this one out. The borrow rate's insane. The max borrow fee was at like 200-something% today, which means you are paying almost 3 times what the value of the stock is just to short the stock. There's no way to make money off of that. If you have to pay like $400 to short a stock at $150, how do you make enough money to pay what you just paid to borrow it? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Plus, then you have to pay the interest on top of it. So anyone who's borrowing right now is just committing suicide. There's no way out. Unless they're holding it thinking unless they're paying $400 for that stock thinking that the price is going to go to $10,000. Then you can make money off of it if you hold it. But if that's the case, then you may as well just go out in the market and buy the shares for $150, right? I don't understand what's going through anyone's thinking in this case. When I was talking with Radek, both of us kind of concurred that we'll probably get recalls before the date of record for the dividend. The date of record for the dividend is probably not going to be set until after we vote. They may already have it in writing, ready to hand to the SEC. The minute we pass that vote on June, whatever, the 7th, whatever that is. And it might be 30 days after that vote. They may make it retroactive. They may make it from sometime before that vote. Although that would leave out a good chance of getting a squeeze going from the share recalls by lenders. But I expect to see a big price increase before the shares go out, and then even bigger price increase after the shares go out. But probably not until that date of record is set. Everyone's just kind of in a holding pattern until then. MacroTurf, I feel like I'm missing something. For the last couple of weeks, it's been Elon FTDs and can kicking and worry. Have we not already won this with dividend? Am I taking crazy pills? Yeah, I feel confident that we've already won it. I think we're there. I think we did it. Congratulations. Way to go. My hat's off. People are going to spread FUD. And the amazing thing is that, here we are. As a giant movement, we are well more than a year into this. We all are fully aware of FUD. And yet people still fall for it time and time again. Like, oh, it's over. I'm getting out. I'm all done. And then the price rockets again, and they were wrong. So don't fall for it. It's that easy. Just like someone says something funny to you, go, okay, and you move on. Buy and hold. It's the simplest strategy in the entire world. It's all you have to do. Just buy and hold, and you've held and you've bought. You bought and holded and held it and bought it, and that's all you have to do. So don't worry about it. Chill out. You're not taking crazy pills. There's just lots of people talking about all sorts of fuddy things, and that's that. You're good. Okay. Where am I? David Wu, Houston, do you like the Mad Max Fury Road? Is it an iconic movie? Mad Max Fury Road is the greatest action movie ever made, and there's a reason why my truck is named the War Rig, because I love that movie. I love that movie so much. I bought it on DVD just so I can put on 3D glasses and watch that movie whenever I want, because it is the greatest action film ever made. Although I've heard that Everywhere All at Once, what's that movie called? All Time Everywhere All at Once. The one with Michelle Yeoh just came out. People are saying is up there as like one of the top 5 greatest action films of all time. And I would love to go see that. I haven't had a chance to go do that yet. But I heard it's really, really good. All right. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Are the delays in Oilco spinoff and the freeze out in investor relations info a cause for concern? Normal for this kind of deal? GeoGuessr was fun last night. Yeah, GeoGuessr is always fun. I don't know. I think that there's lots of issues with how Citadel and Knight, the market makers who started suddenly trading the MMTLP dividends when they shouldn't have been traded, that there's probably Department of Justice and SEC people looking at that and going, hey, this stuff was supposed to trade. You know it was supposed to trade, and all of a sudden you're trading it. All these brokerages went, oh, they started trading it, so we started trading it, and then started trading. It was supposed to have like no value whatsoever until a dividend was given. And I think that's messed up a lot of books, that people are trying to keep track of all this stuff. In investor data, I don't know about the investor relations info. Basically, the news that came out last month was that, hey, we've got a whole bunch of hoops to jump through before we can sell this land and transfer over to Oilco, and it's taking a lot longer because of the bureaucratic slowdown than we thought. And that's kind of where they're stuck with the Oilco thing. Beyond that, I don't know. So I'm just sitting back and I'm waiting. Oil's only going to get more expensive as the year goes on. So that land will only be worth more in the end. J-Dogs also watched the Mariners game, which I'm not watching right now. But they're up 4-0. All right. Way to go, Mariners. Sinchan, I've amassed XXXXX shares of metamaterial and about 5,000 of MNTLP. Damn. Waiting patiently for the dividend. Game on, market makers. Good job. It's much more than I've been able to afford to buy, so way to go. Yeah, the market makers, I think, are should be investigated for why those MMTLP shares were trading. But, I have like 1,000 of those now, so if a pretty chunk of change comes along, I'll take it. And as long as the dividend's more than like $1.30, then I'm okay, right? Oh, and you stupid restarting chat. All right, there's that one. Okay. Monkey butt chic. Apollo God Houston states they won't be giving the investment back to par. Oh, so people are going to get less money than they put in for Melvin. Selects to be a billionaire who invested in Melvin, huh? I bet Michael Jordan's pretty pissed. West Wind says Steve Cohen also gets restarts and do-overs. Well, it's crazy with these guys. Like, hey, I just lost $20 billion. Give me some money. This time it's going to be a winner. If you were outside of Caesar's palace and some tattered guy came up to you and was like, whoa, I just lost 100 grand at the poker table. But if you give me 200 grand, I can win it all back. You know, you're not going to give him that money. If he asks for $10, you're not going to give him that money. So, who are these dumbass billionaires who are going to give Plotkin a second chance? Like, dude, go bag groceries. Go mow people's lawns. You obviously don't have the chops for this stuff, so go do something else with your life. You lost. It's over. Find a new career. It's that simple. Go back to school. Learn how to weld. I don't care. Meow Meow, do you think Griffin was behind all these stupid decisions, or is it possible his traders independently did this to Citadel? No, I think Griffin had a master plan and they just executed what he told them to do. I think he's definitely hands-on, finger in the pie type guy. So I don't think it was minions underneath him doing wrong things against his wishes. I think it was him telling them to do those wrong things, and it so far blowing up in his face. Netflix makes up an appreciable portion of a lot of the assets under management for a lot of these hedge funds. Unless they happen to have gotten puts on this stuff, a lot of those guys are probably eating shit right now with Netflix imploding like this. Now it's a chance, though, if Netflix can not lose 2 million subscribers in the next quarter, then Netflix wins and their stock price is going to rocket. Anything less than 2 million, and it's like, oh well, it's not that bad, and they're gonna go flying again. The problem is that, you know, discretionary income is what pays for things like Netflix. Discretionary income is being eaten up by rent, mortgages, food, and fuel, and that those costs going up 10, 20, 30% on everyone, sometimes even more. Eats up all the discretionary income, and then the first things people are going to do when they don't have money is they're going to cancel the subscriptions to any of the frills they have. They're going to cancel it to Netflix. They're going to cancel it to Blue Apron. They're going to cancel it to all these little delivery services. They're not going to take Ubers. They have to cut costs somewhere, and Netflix is going to lose on that. Netflix needs discretionary income to be available for folks to be a viable company. And if they're the most expensive of all the streaming apps out there, then they're going to be the first ones to lose. So there you have it. Okay. Hey, there's Danelle. Hey, Sherlock Trading. Thank you. That's a good shirt, isn't it? Thank you. I love it. It's so awesome. I didn't when I got it, I didn't realize until today when I put it on that it had their faces on, and that's why they'd ask me for their pictures. I was like, that's weird they want their pictures, but here you go. And then put the shirt on, I was like, what? That looks like Monkey Butt. What? That's Chalupa Batman. It's amazing. I just thought it was a cool shirt with hibiscus all over it and pretty colors, but it's even better. It's got my critters on it. Forever memorialized, and they still don't even realize it. Also, Chalupa Batman just basically lives in my roommate's room now because he's just terrified of this big dumb dog constantly trying to bother him. Latinum, can you make a bull case for BBig? They're shorted like 200-300%. They're a viable company who's made a lot of acquisitions recently, and I don't see. Have they released their earnings for recently yet? I don't know if seen if they. Let's see here. Stock's at 240, still way below what I bought it for. Where? Oh, they've got cash on hand now. They got big old cash on hand. They lost way less money because they probably stopped doing acquisitions. Yeah, so, oops, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I always forget to do that. Gotta turn off that. Gotta turn on this. Gotta go there. There we go. So, earnings is gonna be till May 24th. All right. So we're going to wait to hear quarter one, May 24th. Reporting our vendor Zacks Investment Research might revise this date in the future once the company announced the actual date. Reported earnings per share same quarter was minus $1.23 last year, but they've made lots of purchases since then, and they've got cash on hand. So I think they're doing a lot better than they were. But the big part about BBig is how shorted they are. The reported short interest last fall was like 270%. So it's probably only gone up since then, because that's the only way they could drive the price down as far as they did. That's when the price was like $8 a share. So they only shorted more to drive that price down further. So it hasn't gone up yet. So there's your bull case. SST, CEI, what was the other one? Someone just Ader. They're all so heavily shorted, it's insane. Someone was saying that GME should go and purchase. Was it Get It Got? Yeah, Get It Got. Get It Got was saying a good strategy for GME to really screw the shorts is to go and make acquisitions of heavily shorted companies that are in like the gaming and tech field. And so this company I can buy that company for $50 million. Their short interest is 130%. Let's go just buy the company. And then that QSIP changes, and then everyone has to close their position, and woohoo! I think it'd be great. Why not? They got cash on hand to start screwing with them that way, so let's do it. Legacy 10 Productions. How do you think a GME share dividend will psychologically affect people's floor during MOAS? Do we basically have 7 times extra shares to diamond hand? I think so. Because remember, it's going to turn the number of shares that they buy from like 1 billion to like 8 billion, right? So the number of shares, like a ratio of shares that exist to the number of shares that to buy, is actually going to get even more lopsided. So I think the ceiling is as high as, or the floor is as high as ever in that case. So there you go. Prawesh asking me about the crypto thing again. I've not seen John in I used to see that guy like once a week. I've not seen him in like 2 months. I'm going to get it for you. I'm going to get it. We're going to find out. Believe me, I will talk about it when I finally get him to have a long conversation with me. He's like, dude, we need to sit down and have coffee and talk about this. It's like, perfect. When? He's like, I'll let you know. And then I haven't seen him since. So he has not let me know. I think I have his wife's phone number. I have to give her a call and see see what's going on. We can talk about it. All right. Westwind, if Netflix falls, what will happen to Saul? Oh, what? You give me that look. That's what you want. I can tell. That dog in her blanket. What's really funny is when I first got her, she grew up in the jungle in Hawaii and never had indoors, never had food, had eaten, bugs and plants and stuff. And when I first tried to put a blanket on her, she's like, no, I don't like this at all. And then she started experiencing her first winter, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, I understand why this exists, because it's not like Hawaii where every night is just 80 degrees and wonderful. So she learned, and now she's addicted to blankets. Alexandrite also asks, what's the air quality like in Bainbridge around the times that there have been wildfires? Does the smoke make its way to Bainbridge, or does it mostly blow inland? Go M's, Fisher's Mattress. My entire life, up until 2015, so for 34 years of my life, there was never one smoke-filled day. Since 2015, we've had several weeks in the summer, absolutely inundated, where you can't leave your house, filled with smoke, except for 2016. The other years, 2015, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 2021, horrendous smoke for at least a huge chunk of time. And 2020 was really bad. That was almost a month straight of air quality that's basically equivalent to smoking like 5 packs a day. There's the app, pretty good app called Should I Smoke, which tells you the air quality and the equivalent of how many cigarettes you're smoking if you spend the day outside. And it was, sun's almost blacked out, bad smoke. Mostly from wildfires either in California or wildfires in British Columbia. Even though we've had a good chunk of them here in Washington, the way the wind blows happens to like blow them down the coast one way or the other. But yeah, prior to 2015, we never had a smoky day. And now we have nothing but smoky days, pretty much August, September. It's crazy how that works. Scott Lumley, happy birthday, Houston. What's going on with Sears? Sears is wrapping up their omnibus hearings portion of their bankruptcy, and they are finishing. Apparently the judge is retiring. He's going to appoint a couple of mediators to wrap up everything, but then Sears bankruptcy should be over by sometime this summer. But it's not just Sears is popping, it's other zombie stocks. Lehman Brothers went up like 500% today. Lehman Brothers hasn't existed since 2008, but their stock is up 500%. So other shady, weird things are happening with these zombie stocks that they're all in the expert markets. The experts might be able to tell you. But as far as I can tell, I think it's folks closing positions and getting rid of liabilities they have. They're like, well, I might as well close out these 10 million shares I have for Lehman Brothers or whatever. It's weird. Raj, how Melvin can close existing funds and return money to investors. If Melvin is leveraged on that money capital, shouldn't the prime broker require that money to pay off the close short positions? I'm wondering about that too. Like if they're leveraged 30-1, how are they going to close those positions and then have any money left over to pay people? How are you going to do it, Plotkin? I'm wondering. Unless they're doing weird debt swaps. I don't know. I don't know how they can close and like wind down, have any money left over to pay their investors. I don't know. It's a good question. Sad Boy Incorporated, Houston, can you show us your cat and tell us your favorite camping spot? Also, what kind of fan mail would you like to receive? Well, I mean, this is pretty darn good fan mail right here. Most I can show you is the cat right now, because I think the kitty cat is currently hiding from the big dog in my roommate's room. So that's as much as I can show you. Chulipa Batman at the moment. He really has not ventured out since this big dog came and upended everybody's lives. Favorite camping spot? So many cool places to camp around the world. I mean, like, if I were to go by pure heartstrings and nostalgia, there's Soul Duck Hot Springs, which is where my mom would take us every summer with her best friend's family. So our two families would go and we go camping for a couple weeks at a time and play in the hot springs and have a great time. That was always wonderful. I sleep really well next to a river. Man, that's just car camping. Place to hike to and camp. I love being in like canyons or along rivers if I'm going to go anywhere. It's one thing, like, you can go on a big hike up in the mountains and be next to some like alpine lakes and it's beautiful, but it's just cold as shit. The water's freezing, and what you have is, it's really beautiful. But if you're camping next to like a wonderful river in July or August, and you can go float in the river and fish and pan for gold and do all sorts of fun things, I really like that. I had a fantastic, might be one of the most fun 5 days of my life was during the eclipse in 2017. Come back, Google Earth. We got to fly across the world here. So, come on. Let's go to Oregon. All right. Bing. Go to Central Oregon. All right, where is Prineville? Dayville, Mount Vernon, Mitchell. There we go. Okay, so this is the John Day River here in Oregon. If I zoom out, you can kind of see John Day River flows from White Mountains, out here down into the Columbia eventually. But near the Painted Hills, which is gorgeous area. This is Painted Hills here. And there's some other Painted Hills. It's volcanic ash that wiped out a bunch of animals. And there's all sorts of cool fossils inside of all this ash, these ash fields here. But along the river, come down, and right at this bend here is a campground. So this is a campground along the river. Not many trees or anything, but there's some picnic tables and stuff. And it's like this one little corner of Bureau of Land Management land that touches this river. And so I was like, hey, friends who want to come see the eclipse, I've got a free place to camp, and as many of you as can come. So about me and 100 of my closest friends all piled in and made a big campground right here, and had the time of our lives for like 5 days, and then watched the eclipse. And the river through here is wonderful. The water's at perfect temperature. There's all sorts of fun cliffs to jump off of in here, and you can float down and you can get out here. We also drove like up the river a ways. There's another campground up here, and we floated several miles down the river, and it was great. But the drive through here is wonderful. So this is the Cherry Creek Ranch here, and this canyon. This is a basalt canyon that comes up through here. And there's a dirt road that comes all the way up, and it is one of those beautiful drives I've ever done in my entire life. When I first like ventured through here, I was awestruck. And this ranch might still be for sale. It's about 30,000 acres, so it's a huge chunk of land. And if you have like $25 million, you can buy it. But there's a little ghost town called Horsehaven, where I might have to bring up the thingamajiggies here. Where are you? Oh, here we go. Horsehaven. There's Horsehaven. This is an old mercury mining camp town. Some of the remnants of the mine are still here, and the workings, tailings. The sad part is most of the town burned down in a wildfire in like 2005. So there were buildings and little company store and stuff that burned down. But it's a beautiful drive. Even all the way up through this dirt road, you come through, make some good trips, and come back to, is it Highway 26? I can't remember which one it is. But work your way back to the main highway. Up this way. So towards Rajneesh, which is the town of Antelope, which is actually Antelope over here. Dang it. This is Rajneesh Airport. So this is where the Osho, that cult leader guy in the 80s, took over and then renamed this town Rajneesh, and their whole cult tried to kill all the county council and whatnot, take over the county, and there's a crazy Netflix documentary on it. I wrote a story about it that I'm pretty sure the people who did the documentary based off my story and then never interviewed me about it. But just beautiful, beautiful drives all the way through here. I highly recommend it. It was gorgeous. But it's hot. You're not going to get shade unless you bring your own shade. There's no trees or anything out here. But the Painted Hills National Monument is in here. And I mean, literally the hills are like purple, red, yellow, all sorts of crazy colors. And then if you go a little bit to the east, south of Spray, south of Kimberly, there's the museum, the Painted Hills Museum, John Day Fossil Beds, right? Yeah, John Day Fossil Beds National Monument is here. And again, the hills are like crazy blue colors and purples and all sorts of stuff. It doesn't quite show up here on Google Earth, but it's beautiful. Oh, shut up, dude. No, there's no reason for you to guard anything. No one cares. There's nothing of value here. You don't need to bark at anything. Just chill out. That's all you have to do. Is just be a chill customer, buddy. Just chill out and give me some peace of mind for once. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to turn these guys off. But, man, I've camped at so many cool spots. Tried to like narrow them all down. There's a hot river in the south, in Nevada here. So there's Denio. This is Virgin Valley through here. And Virgin Valley is where all the black opals are found. And this is a hot river itself that comes through. But if you go up, There's a giant crack, which is a big crack in the ground. This is also really cool to hike through. But along this ridge here is another hot river, and it's nice and shallow, and you can just like pop a camping chair in it, sit all day. And one of the most pleasant experiences you can have. I love being in the desert. The desert's awesome. And tons of fossils to find. All this yellow stuff. You see all this yellow stuff? That is uranium. You can see it from space. That's yellow cake uranium. There's a layer at, I don't know, a 3,500 foot layer that's just volcanic ash that's just rich in uranium. And it goes all the way down the south, all the way to the Black Rock Desert, which is down here. It's Black Rock Desert. And there's just tons of uranium in this area. I've got uranium claims I've never done anything with. Had hopes and dreams, and then Fukushima happened, and I don't know if I'll ever make money off of them. We'll see. But yeah, and just go places. Don't necessarily go to campgrounds. Go to Bureau of Land Management land out in the middle of the desert and just find cool spots. There's cool shit all over the place that's owned by the public. You can camp on it for 30 days. No one can bother you before you have to move. Do it. You don't have to pay money to go sit in a campground. Yeah, if you want a flush toilet or something, cool. But, just bring a shovel and some water bottles and you're good to go. But it's pretty everywhere around here. There's gorgeous spots. Pyramid Lake's gorgeous. The Carson Sink is gorgeous. These mountain ranges up here, like the Rochester mine, is really cool. And then you get through, this is the bombing range. This is Black Rock bombing range up here for the Navy. So they fly all sorts of like fighter jets and dropping bombs and stuff. So there's wild horses all through this desert. There's donkeys like everywhere, and they will kick the shit out of you if you get near them. But yeah, just go places. Just go, man. Just go places. Okay, I think I totally rambled too long. Come on, scroll up. Serious question. Meow meow. Between space junk and runaway climate change, I think we could end up back to riding horses after MOAS, invest in shovels and wheelbarrows. Yeah. We might be headed that way anyways. If the supply chain breaks down as much as they say, that we're going to have food shortages everywhere, every single country is going to move into this every man for himself type mode, which is going to be really dangerous and very resource strenuous. What term I want to use for that? But if food prices skyrocket, first world countries are going to take what they can and screw everybody else. That's a fact. We will care about ourselves first and be like, oh, sorry, developing nations. Should have been rich. We've seen the breakdown in what, like, just a little push on supply chain stuff, what that can do. Last week with Texas, with Governor Abbott shutting down the border, essentially caused food stores to run dry and grocery stores. We're probably going to lose an appreciable percentage of the exported wheat around the world due to the war in Ukraine. We've got droughts all through the American West. We have water running out in the Midwest. We've got, searing heat just killing off plants in the summertime when we got our heat waves and what bulb effects that just wipe out crops. So yeah, we may entirely break down and become like a dystopian future that we've been warned about in movies and TV shows for a long time. I've got less faith that we're going to turn out Star Trek and more faith that we're going to turn out Mad Max. So there you have it. What kind of fan mail I'd like to receive? I always forget that part. This is pretty awesome fan mail. I'm going to enjoy that. Candy's great. Got some treats for the creatures. Thank you so much. No one has to send me stuff. I love it though. And also remember, I'm down to, how many do I have left? I've got 51 stickers left. So if you want a sticker for Houston with a Problem, send self-addressed envelope to the P.O. box in the description, and self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will send you a Houston We Have a Problem sticker that you can stick on whatever you want. And yeah, so I keep forgetting to remind people to do that, and then the number of envelopes that arrive are fewer and fewer. I also forgot to go to the post office and mail. I have a whole batch. I've got a batch of these I forgot to mail. I was supposed to do that yesterday when I pick up my mail, and then I forgot to do it. So those will go out. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. Remember to mail that. So yes. Let's claim, and yes, Melvin Capital is shutting down. They are finishing up. Plotkin wants to open a new fund. I wonder if I'm going to call it Smelvin or something. Maybe Wedgie Capital. He did the Melvin, now a Wedgie. The Wedgie Hedgie. Everton, Houston, I still don't get why hedgies have to pay for the dividend shares. Does the system just not split the shares automatically into our account? This not a split. That's the thing. If it was a split, then your one share would become like 5 shares, and then that's how it would split. In this case, it's an issuance from the company of new shares into your account. So it's not a traditional split. It's a dividend. So by law, if you are short on a stock, you owe any dividends that are issued to the person you owe the stock to. So if you own 10 shares of stock and there's a 5-to-1 dividend, that means you'll be given 50 shares of stock, 50 shares of new stock into your account. If you happen to hold synthetics in those accounts, unbeknownst to you, because your broker lent them out, or you received FTDs that never got fulfilled, then whoever is responsible for the creation of synthetic is going to owe you 5 shares for every share that you own. And they're going to have to go out in the market and find those shares and buy them and give them to you, or else they're going to face liquidation where they're forced to go out and use that money to buy those shares. And they want to avoid that, because liquidation means they lose control of their assets, and anything gets sold out from under them to be able to make up that cash. So that's why the hedge funds are going to be responsible. That's why it's devious. It's devious. Yamia also says, I've seen the future. Nobody worry. Kevin Cosner saves us no matter what happens. You can count on Kevin. It's true. Either Waterworld or the Postman, he's got your back. So, has he done other post-apocalyptic movies or just those two? I think those are the two. You should do another one. Like an older geezer Kevin Costner doing apocalyptic movies. Jared Falcon, Houston, do you like Alexandrite? Alexandrite's awesome. Where's my... Nope, not that one. Where are you? Which shelf did I put you on? I know you're around here somewhere, unless I put you in safe deposit box. Where are you? I have some bitchin' Alexandrite and man. Oh, right here. Duh. So this is from Namibia. This is I don't know, 500-600 carat stone that you can see those crystals in there. This is Alexandrite in matrix. So inside, it's kind of a greenish color under this light. And you take it outside, it turns more purple red. So Alexandrite is a color change chrysoberyl, and a chrysoberyl is it's beryllium in it, like any other beryl, like emeralds or aquamarine. But they get forged under pressure, where basically sea trenches of 2 continents meet and a bunch of water mixes in and does weird stuff. I wrote a cool blog, I think so, years ago. Let's go there. Sphere Geologic. Alexandrite. Where my noosphere? Geologic, Alexandrite. There we go. Oops. You guys can't see shit. Forgot to do that. You gotta turn this off. Why aren't you going somewhere? Go. 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 Turn you off. That's what I want. Okay. So, I wrote... When did I write this? 2013. So this is 9 years ago that I wrote this article. But if you guys want to read about Alexandrite, shabam. There's a history of Alexandrite, how it's made, famous places, famous examples of it out there. I at one time had a pretty big one that I gave away as part of my Kickstarter to the biggest donor. And that's before I had this guy. Where did I just do that? This big 500 carat chunk of stuff in Matrix. And I like it, but I probably could make money off it if I just took these guys out and polished them, but it's just so darn pretty, so cool as a rock that I just leave it that way. Yeah, so something to read. It's in the chat there. Have at it. Okay. Where am I going? All right, that's Jaded asking about Alexandrite. It's pretty. So it is a gemstone of royalty, and it's really nice. Alexandrite will sell for $10,000 to $50,000 a carat. Originally found in the Ural Mountains, named after Prince Alexander of the Russian court. Became like the gemstone of royalty in Russia. And then also added to that was demontoid garnets, which are really beautiful green garnets that have a refraction index almost as high as a diamond. So they're very sparkly. So yeah, they're cool stuff. Darren Bogan from UK. Hello. Oh, and looks like people want to do coordinates tonight. So look at this. Bam. 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 Where are we going? Take me somewhere. Going to New York. Going downtown. We're going to this building right here, which is, what are you? You're a Citigroup Center. Ah. And you are W60AI. And you are 599 Lexington Avenue. So this is where Citigroup is based. Is that where we're going here? Mike? All right. It's a pretty cool looking building for being a center of evil. But, what are you going to do except be the center of evil? In a big giant building. All right. I don't know if you want any other reason for me to go there other than to zoom in on this evil tower here. But it does look. This building does look very Blade Runner. Yeah, let's say Blade Runner. JH thinks that by expanse from Amazon to continue it, they should also pick up Firefly. Firefly should have been picked up a long time ago. I don't know if Firefly would be the same with Wash being dead, though. They should restart Briscoe County Jr. Get the man Bruce Campbell back in there playing Briscoe. I'd be all for it. Would love a second season of Briscoe County Jr. Someone who totally should have been a leading man in tons of stuff was Bruce Campbell, and somehow he got relegated to that B-level status, and he should have been so much more. He has a really good biography that came out maybe 15 years ago called If Chins Could Kill, Confessions of a B-Movie Actor. And he talks about like doing all these screen tests for The Phantom, and it was between him and Billy Zane, and then Billy Zane got it, and then the movie just went so, they obviously made the wrong choice there. Mermy TV, Houston. I'm from Germany. I love watching your streams since early last year. Keep up the spirit and let the MOAS begin. Oh, let it begin. Quite a few. I'm always surprised at how many Europeans are big watchers. Welcome, Europe, and non-native speakers of English. I butcher most people's names when they come up here. Let's claim it. Did you see the pre-market opening for GME this morning? Not one share traded for 16 minutes after PM opened. Huh. Pre-market open. No, I didn't notice that. I think shares are very short, or very short to find. Oh, that's worked out. Hard to find. It's hard to find shares to short. Maybe that's the term I'm looking for. And they're scared to like do anything. They want this sucker to close at 150, right in max pain, and just leave it there until, you know, someone pulls the trigger on something. All right. Oh, of course it resets again. The chat loves to. I scroll down like 2 scrolls, and all of a sudden it just zooms right back to the bottom, and I miss out on where I was. There we go. Okay. All right. Fried Taters here from Wahoo. Geology question: is there a relationship? Is there a relation between volcanic hotspots and asteroid impacts on the Geographic Antipode, or is that tinfoil geologic theory? Not that I'm aware of. But a problem being that, you know, the plates move, and so unless there's a recent volcanic hotspot unless there's a recent impact crater near a volcanic hotspot, it's very hard to make that connection. As far as I know, like, if there was an impact, that any hotspot that happened there probably covered up any evidence of there being an impact. But we do see spots where, you know, craters are visible from space, and like there's no volcanic hotspots from where the crater struck the Yucatan to cause the dinosaurs to go extinct. Even though they penetrate really deep, they can penetrate sometimes miles apparently into the earth. With the meteorite that hits, and displace a ton of material. So, Google Earthing it again. Where's what we're doing today? We're just Google Earthing. Oops, nope. Turn on. Zoom out from the center of evil here, and zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. So, like, an obvious one you can see is where's a big ass one. There we go. The big ass one in Quebec. This guy here. The Manigonquin meteor impact crater. So this is huge. I mean, this thing's, what, 70 miles across or something? Yeah, 40 miles across. Okay, so it's 40. It's big enough. It's decent size. And that's a big meteorite crater. Not too much has happened geologically in this area to like uplift mountains, volcanics. So you can see that line of the crater really well. Like Sudbury, where all the mining is here. Where am I going? Sudbury. Why am I blind? Sudbury. Am I looking in the wrong spot? Lake Huron, right? Get Sudbury. Why am I blind? Oh, sorry. Wrong lake. Sudbury. So Sudbury is a meteorite impact crater as well, but you can't see it. Like this is a huge nickel and iron mining area, and their mining was essentially an ancient meteorite that crashed here, and you can't see any evidence of the crater. And just like if you go south to the Yucatan, where the impact was for what killed the dinosaurs, you can't see it here. They have to use ground penetrating radar to see what the land looks like, because so much coral is built up in ocean sediment, you really can't see the meteorite crater very well anymore. And as you can see, there's like no hotspot volcanoes around here. The volcano chain is where the plates are meeting on this side, so you can avoid that. Okay. Where was I? That was fried tater. Oh, Andrew Stewart, I missed your chat. Ayers Rock. Where did Andrew Stewart? Oh, I did miss this one. Dang it. Sorry. For some reason, the blue ones don't show up. it's only the green and yellow ones that show up, like, peek out my stream here. So you want to go to Ayers Rock. Bam. Go. There we go. Let's go to Australia. Womp. Big old rock. Big piece of sandstone. Look at that thing. Look at those striations. It's pretty cool looking from space, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty memorable from the ground, but yeah. Apparently, they finally stopped letting people climb on this thing, which is good because it's very erosion worthy, and they're finally letting like the Aboriginals have control of it. Uluru is the Aboriginal name. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool sandstone formation. Oh, you guys can't see that. I forget that like I can see the little Wikipedia window that pops up on my side. You just see a big white square, which isn't fun for anybody. So if we go here, now you'll be able to see everything. So it's a big sandstone formation. It's a block that basically was one way and it got tilted on its side and then started eroding away. Yeah. Let's see here. New description, geology. It's an island mountain. It's also a monolith. Coarse grain Arcos, a type of sandstone characterized by abundance of feldspar and some conglomerates. So basically got some gravel and stuff in there. It's thought to have a thickness of 2,400 meters when it was laid down before it got uplifted and turned on its side. That's crazy. Yeah. But right on. Yeah. Beautiful place. Gorgeous. Back to Google Earth. Let's see if we can get a good view of how you'd see it if you were in the little town, which is probably what postcard pictures are all of. Come on. Take me all the way in. Point right there. And bam. There you go. Uluru, or also known as Ayers Rock. No, we're driving. We're driving, folks. We're driving right along. We are cruising. Looks like we're in a video game. It's like we're in some music video from the 80s that's done with like Nintendo graphics. As we come along, we're approaching the big old rock here, and we're gonna take some peyote or ayahuasca and trip out. And if you're in a big giant flat place like this, and there's just one random weird looking rock, yeah, it's gonna become a big center of your culture. You'd be like, what the heck? This thing must mean something. There's nothing else around here. I mean, seriously, you can look. There's nothing. There's nothing. Not a damn thing anywhere on the horizon except for this. And so you're like, what's the meaning of it? This must have some sort of historical context or mean something to our people or something. The gods put it here for a reason. If you can take a shit, there's a little restroom for you. But it's cool. It's a cool rock. Thank you. Good spot. Good spot indeed. All right. Back to there. Sorry, didn't mean to miss your super chat there, Andrew Stewart. The blue ones, anything that's not green, I think green is $5 zone. Anything that's not green doesn't pop up at the top, so I don't see it as I'm yik-yakking away. And I don't know why they do that. Why people sent money? I should be able to pontificate on whatever they sent there. Okay. Other people saying that YouTube waited 22 minutes. BW brand. Say I'm streaming. Sorry. YouTube sometimes doesn't even notify people. My mom's like, I never get notifications anymore that you're streaming. You know, I have no power. I don't know why my mom can't get notifications that I'm streaming. She's definitely not watching me and definitely watching paint dry on Home and Garden television because that's her favorite thing in the world is watching paint dry. So. Rude boy. Netflix the same as Blockbuster. There's definitely going to be a paradigm shift, that's for sure. Like, the whole reason streaming platforms exist was that folks were sick and tired of ads, and they wanted to just watch a show and zone out, do that whole thing. Excuse me. And now it seems like we're going back to network television. Like, everything's going to be ad supported, and we're going to have to sit through ads and watch ads and ads. It's amazing to me how much of the world is run on advertising dollars. Like, one of the weirdest things for me is that there'll be a paid promotional tweet, right? It'll be like a tweet from the NBA. It's going to show some basketball highlight on your timeline. But first, for the commercial for the NBA, they're going to play a commercial for Oscar Mayer Wieners before it. So you're watching a commercial that's paying for a commercial. Like, how weird is that? You know? Look at this brand new car from Chevrolet. But first, before you can watch this commercial for a car for Chevrolet, you have to watch a commercial for Oh Boy Alberto beef jerky. What? So I wonder if I can make a commercial for Houston We Have a Problem, right? Houston We Have a Problem, 30-second commercial, come watch my YouTube show, whatever. And I buy 100,000 ads for Twitter, right? But then I go to, name a company. I go to Prudential Investments, and now you say Prudential, The Rock. I have an ad that's going to be playing 100,000 times. Do you want to buy a 10-second ad in front of my ad for $1 million or whatever? Like, it's so weird. Like, who ended up paying for the ad? Was it the NBA or was it Oh Boy Alberto or whatever? I don't know. Makes no sense to me. Westwind, I'd love for Ryan Cohen's first interview to be with you. Houston, I think you'd both bring forward with each other what the world needs to see regarding market manipulations. That'd be fantastic. But I know Brian Cohen's a huge fan of the show, and he's just at home watching. He wants to comment so bad, but he just can't let anyone know that he's in here, so he has to just keep his yap shut and not be all up in everyone's chats here. But he lives and dies for my little internet show. And if he ever wants to, like, break that barrier and admit that he's one of my huge fanboys, he's welcome to come on my show. I will be fair and interview him incredibly tastefully. We won't talk about poop that much. Only maybe half the show will be about turds. But, the other half will be about wieners. So, Ryan, whenever you're ready, let me know. Have your people call my people, and we will have a wonderful show about turds and wieners. So, the offer stands. Ben Myers says, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a great action sci-fi family drama. It is one of the most memorable movie experiences I've had in a while. The movie is very trippy. There you go. There's the review. That's basically what everyone's saying. Like, wow, I love that thing. And my mind's like, so I don't know if it's playing anywhere near me. I have to go maybe spend a Saturday evening there watching that movie. Yes, your thoughts on Noam Chomsky's letter to Ukraine president. I did not see Noam Chomsky's letter to Ukraine president. I saw an interview saying that the only solution is a diplomatic solution, and I don't agree with Noam Chomsky there at all. Where's the letter? I'm not seeing it here. Unless it's up in the news. Let's is from a month ago. There's a letter from a month ago that Noam Chomsky apparently wrote. Oh, it's a letter from somebody else to Noam Chomsky saying basically shut the fuck up. Never mind. I don't see anything recent about Noam Chomsky. But Noam Chomsky basically is like, hey man, war is bad. So, negotiate a truce. But you can't negotiate with a rabid dog. Like, you are being invaded by a belligerent authoritarian dictatorship, and you can either lay down and take it, or you can fight back. And laying down and taking it is not a solution. Then you just become, a subjugated arm of that dictatorship. You become colonized by an imperialist government. And that's just not how you deal with groups like that. It doesn't work. It never has. Laying down and taking it, no, don't. Kick ass. Take names. Fight back. Stand for something. Don't be Neville Chamberlain and be like, okay, you can have the Czech Republic, but after that, nobody else. And then Poland, then Hitler invades Poland. We go, what? And then he does the Blitzkrieg and go, what? You have to stand for something. Like, no one wants to go down history as just being a doormat for an asshole. That's not how you make a legend. That's not how you inspire people. Be an inspiration. Kick ass, take names. Nothing good is going to come of Russia running roughshod over the whole of Ukraine and just raping and killing their way across that nation. No good is going to come of that. So if left to, hey, let's negotiate, then that's exactly what Russia's going to do. They're going to be like, yeah, we'll totally negotiate while we level every city that you have. So no, whatever Noam Chomsky's going at, he's wrong. You can wish for peace all you want, but sometimes the war comes to your door. And there's nothing you can try to piece out as much. Like, hey, man, don't take over my entire population and ruin all of society. And if the other person is very intent on doing that, they're going to do it. And you just got to, fight back. That's the only way. That's the only way to deal with bullies, man. It's if you can't fight back, you got to find somebody who will fight with you, who'll stick up for you. And that's just the way it is. And right now, because of the political ramifications, at most Western societies, all they can do is supply weapons to Ukraine and make Ukraine do it itself, which is not necessarily fair, but the modern weapons are giving them a huge upper hand that they would have had otherwise. And, if we were to jump in and be like, hey, Ukraine, we're going to get your back here, then Russia's going to launch nukes, and it's the whole thing. But as long as the Ukrainians kicking ass with our weapons, we seem to be getting away with it that way. But, you just can't. After seeing the horrors that have happened to the people in these places like Bucha, and knowing that there's a genocidal bent behind this to wipe out Ukrainian as an identity is just wrong. And as human beings, it's our job to go, hey, fucker, that's wrong. You're not allowed to do that. So yeah, Noam's wrong. He's wrong. I know people don't like fighting, but sometimes you have no choice. That's what you got. Okay. Brandon T. Houston, did you see the reporting in the New York Times this Sunday? Jared Kushner is starting his own investment fund with $2.5 billion in Saudi money. Like watching car accident in slow motion. I have no doubt that Jared Kushner sold top secret material to the Saudis for the guarantee of investing into a hedge fund of his. The dude has no experience trading. If anything, he's done a horrible job when it comes to managing money. He's bought failing newspapers. He bought a gigantic tower at 666, Fifth Avenue or whatever, that he paid $1.5 billion for at the height of the real estate market, and now it's worth like $100 million bucks. He's Daddy's son. Daddy was a cutthroat mobster, and his son was kind of this like goody two shoes. So all of a sudden is in charge of everything since his dad went to prison for, being a cutthroat mobster. And I don't think he's as good at it. I think he's too weak. And he's smarmy, but just not smarmy in the right way. Yeah, it's interesting. I think there should be investigations into why he got that money and what promises he made while he had access to top secret information. And that's a lot of money to manage, man, for never having done it before, to get from a bunch of foreign sources that shouldn't want to invest with you otherwise. J Ram. Oh, sorry. I really read this wrong. I'm like, J Ram call. Junior AMC all the way. I don't think Melvin got any short on GME anymore. I think that he traded that short to a big player. They wouldn't be able to stay solvent if they still had their short position. I think it's very possible that they did some sort of debt swap. But the fact that they've still lost so much money, even in quarter one of this year, they lost like another 21% on what they had the previous year, which they lost like 48% or something. Tells me that they still have made some really terrible decisions. So they may still be short on some of the stuff. They may have done a weird debt swap and got someone else's horrible toxic assets. But yeah, I do wonder what they hold and when they unwind, what that's going to mean. BW Brand is buying a $50,000 car for $150. $150,000? A deal? Oh, we're talking about stock. Buying a $50,000 car for $150. Yes, that would be a deal. Buy a stock for $150 and you can sell it for $150,000. Woohoo! People talking about their Eclipse stories. The Eclipse is awesome, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to do the 2024 Eclipse, and I have not figured that out yet. Thinking maybe if I can rent a house in Mexico, it'd be pretty awesome to like be on the ocean for that. But there's not too much public lands where this path is going through. It's going through mostly private ranches and up through to Canada. So people charge so much. They're like where I was camping for free in Oregon. There are people in the ranch next door who are paying like $500 a night to camp. What? It's free just down the road where I am. Why are you paying that money? Yeah, do what you gotta do, I guess. Kith, Houston, what do you think about this push in lithium mining, battery mining, when we're on the precipice of someone like GMG's battery tech? They're going to use the tech they have now because that's all they know. It's going to take a while to get companies like GMG up and running and building as many batteries as they need. So there's still going to be a market for lithium for the next several years until these supercapacitors can replace them. But expect the minute this new technology comes on the market at scale that lithium is going to fall off a cliff. People won't need it anymore. Why mine for ultra rare lithium that's expensive to mine and uses tons of energy to do it when you can just use carbon and aluminum that we have abundantly everywhere, and it's much cheaper to get access to, especially when like you're using like an atom per graphene sheet that's going to be going to these batteries of aluminum. It's coming. It's coming. We've just got a few years until everything's up and running. Just make sure that there's no one from BCG working at the GMG company. All right. BW Brandon wanted to post up on the end of a dam and have the shadow race towards me 1,000 miles per hour, but I didn't make it in time. It was cool to watch. We were up on a hill. We watched the shadow hit us and then retreat. That was pretty awesome. Some rich people were in very fast like Gulf Streams, and they were inside the eclipse for like hours as it went across the country. That's pretty cool. But I don't know how well they can see it though, because they're racing, but it was like 10 in the morning, so the sun would be kind of in front of them. I don't know. I don't know how they did that. All right, got a Korean name. I don't know how to read Korean. I'm sorry, but whatever that name is. Houston, hello. Due to legal restrictions, most Korean retails can trade U.S. stocks based on their stock deposited within Citibank. So if MOAS occurs and Citibank goes bankrupt, our stock is tied up. Likely, and we have to go through the U.S. legal process to get our stocks back. I am worried that we'll go bankrupt. Could a bank like Citibank be safe from MOAS? Thank you. If assets get purchased, so if Citibank goes under, assets will be purchased by another bank for a screaming deal. The FDIC, Federal Depository Trust Corporation, Federal Depository Insurance Corporation will seize the bank, and then the next day basically sell all the assets to another bank for pennies on the dollar. It happened with Washington Mutual. Washington Mutual had $300+ billion in assets, and the FDIC seized the bank and then sold the bank to Chase for, I don't know, a third of a penny on the dollar. So for like $1 billion, they bought $300 billion in assets. And then all the Washington Mutuals became Chase Bank. The same thing would happen if Citi were to break up, is that someone would come in, Chase or someone else would purchase them and take all their assets. And then you would cease to be a Citibank customer and you would now be a Chase Manhattan customer or whatever. So that's what you'll be looking at. Now, how that would work for licensing, like the ability to do business in Korea, I assume that if they pick up their assets, they'd pick up whatever contract they had to do business in Korea. So I think you'd be okay. I think you should be fine. Alexa's channel. Do you think BlackRock or Vanguard could try a hostile takeover with AMC? They probably own 10% each by now. I don't think they're interested in running companies. I think that they just want a broad index of corporations, because overall the market generally goes up. So if you've got a piece of everything, then you're going to generally go up with it. I don't think they want to run companies. So I don't think they want to have a majority share of anything. So I don't think it's very likely. What time we got? 10:12. Okay, got like half an hour left. And before I go cross-eyed. J. King Houston, thanks. A little late night. Can you tell me who Eric Lance is? I don't think so. Eric Lance? Let's see what the internet says, because Eric Lance, supervisor at the Postal Service? Is that who Eric Lance is? Is it Dr. Eric Lance? No, I don't know who Eric Lance is. Sorry. Nope, not a clue. Don't know. Sorry. Someone's cooking something. There's something smelling delicious coming through my vents right now. Oh, now I'm hungry. Hey, Mariners win 4-2. There we go. Looks like the bullpen gave a couple runs, though. Awesome. Scrolling. People are talking about their apocalypse plans here. I just plan to become a raider because, I don't have the energy to like grow my own food. I tried once and then just everything died because I forgot about it. So it's either starve to death or just take what other people have, right? J-Dog, Houston, does hydroponic growing require as much fertilizers as soil grown? I am the worst person in the world to ask that. I had a pothead roommate who could probably tell you all about hydroponics. I think the idea of hydroponics is that it takes less everything, right? Is that the whole point you do it? You can put grow lights on all day long, and the water has all the nutrients in it and just recycles through there. But I'm a terrible person to ask that question because I don't know. I don't. Westwind Houston, on a different account, I think. I tagged some people that might find your lives. Great way to spend the evening. Do you mind us tagging others, even if RC, etc.? Yeah, man, tag whoever you want. Bring them on into the party. It's late night, so I don't know if anyone's still awake. Hopefully Friday's show will be a daytime show. I don't anticipate having anything taken over the day. So I think Fridays will be a daytime show. Tune in for Houston next time Houston cleans apartment. Oh, you reset again, you jerk. Stop resetting and just let me scroll. And okay, there we go. Liz Clayman. My ex-boyfriend worked at that Citigroup Bank in New York. He's the CEO of Western Alliance Bank now. Wanted to marry me, but I said no, I was young and dumb. Oops, could have been on Easy Street there, Liz. C'est la vie. I mean, one of my sisters was living in Australia and working in this little chicken shop in Cronulla on the beach. And she was proposed to by a professional cricket player, by a professional rugby player, and by some billionaire who owned a tech company. Each time she was like, no. And now she, is poor like me. Man, if you got it, just take advantage of it, dude. If billionaire proposes, I put a ring on it, my man. Let's sign a prenup. At least gets me some sort of future. Duke Nukem should have played. Bruce Campbell should have played Duke Nukem. I think Duke Nukem was based on Bruce Campbell with his come get somes and stuff like that. I totally think that was a complete knockoff of Bruce Campbell's characters from the Evil Deads in Army of Darkness. And Bruce Campbell vs. the Evil Dead was fantastic, and I'm so sad they canceled it. It was just beautiful splatter. Absolutely just hilarious and gory. Oh, Jersey's in here. It's super early in Poland. Man. Oh. Super chat from Jim, but the message was retracted. Did I read it? Did I just miss it entirely? Thank you for the super chat. I wonder what your message was. Mark Kilpatrick, hi Houston. Can a person pan for gold in Sierra River in California, or they need to get a permit or claim first? Ooh, panning for gold in California. I think you're allowed to test pan without a permit in California. If you do need a permit, it's to do large scale dredging or anything like that, which might be mostly illegal now in California in most places. I know it is on some of the rivers, like the Klamath River. You can't dredge on there anymore. But the Sierra River, you should be able to pan there. I don't know of active claims. There's probably tons of active claims, though, so you may have to look for that. I used to have subscription to Mindcache, which would pop up on Google Earth, but I haven't used it in 2 years, so... Okay, so of the claims that were there, only about 1 in 5 are currently active. So there are forfeited claims that no longer have claims on there. But look for signs. If you see signs that say, such and such claim, don't mine there. They can shoot you, so you don't want to get shot. It's a very antiquated law. But if you go to a spot and there's no mine claim sign, have at it. You might want to double check with the Bureau of Land Management to make sure that you're on something that doesn't have a claim sign. But by law, they're supposed to put those signs up. And if they don't have the sign up, they're supposed to check and make sure they have a sign up. So, but just don't get your head blown off. That's the first rule of gold mining, is don't step on someone else's toes, because a lot of those guys purposely have claims just to have the excuse to kill somebody and get away with it. Gold miners are monsters. And so just know that going in. All right. Okay. Bidby brand, the Aboriginal language is super interesting. Their tenses are based around cardinal directions. I did not know that. Huh. Weird. Huh. So, like, if something was present tense, it would be like, you'd be talking about it as if it was in the west. If something was past tense, it would be in the east or something. That weird. Huh. I'll talk to my linguistics sister and see how that works out. Oh, Eric Lentz. That's what you're asking. Not Eric, whatever the one was. Eric Lentz. I got Rick Lentz. Oops. No. Eric. E. Eric Lentz. Physicist. Focused on theoretical computational experiments. Postdoctoral researcher from Richland. Warp drives? Huh. I don't know him, but he's talking about fashion light travel and warp drives and stuff. Oops. Gotta turn you off. Gotta go there. Okay. Super luminal warp drives, acceleration of soliton, past speed of light, and paper publisher this year. So, I don't know, man. Looks like he writes about cool stuff. He's here in Washington. Apparently, he's a physicist out at Hanford. So maybe I'll have to go figure out how to run into him. But J. King, beyond this, I don't know who he is. But it looks like he does cool stuff. All right. Ali Gladio, good morning, everyone. NSC 2022-003, the rule will let companies who have shorted stocks to not comply with their obligation to fill those stocks that have been shorted on FTD and naked shorts. Yes, it allowed them to basically swap out those IOUs with another IOU, which seems like a really, really dumb rule. It's can kicking. It's basically like, hey, you are supposed to have infinite risk when you make the short position, but we are going to allow you to not have to have infinite risk anymore. A touche. So there you go. No Revolution 105, Bruce Campbell is in the new Doctor Strange. Still got it. Ooh, I like that. I like the sound of that. For sure. Okay. AMC Bull Houston, do you own any Bed Bath & Beyond calls? I did. They made a little penny off of them, and then I sold them. I don't think I have any more, do I? No, I do. I've got 2 left for this Friday. I bought when they're in the money, and now Bed Bath & Beyond is like $16. There's still a chance they can go in the money, but they're not worth much anymore. Oh well. Had some others that I'd sold that were a couple weeks ago and made a little bit off of them. Not much. Diaz, I drove by a car dealership today and the used cars all start at $30,000. Yeah, the price of cars is just insane at the moment. And it's all coming down to the fact that new car companies can't produce any cars because they can't get any semiconductors. So, you'll see MSRP on a car. Like my mom was asking me the other day, she saw a commercial for some electric car by Kia or Hyundai or something. She's like, hey, can you look up the price of that car? So I did. And it's like the MSRP is $35,000. And so I looked at any of the dealerships in the area, and all of them had jacked the price to like $55,000 to $60,000. So, yeah, it's all supply and demand. It's a weird point in time where they can raise the price on this stuff like crazy because there's such a small supply. And then people are turning to the used car market. So anything that's a decent used car is selling for like as much or more than someone bought it new a few years ago, because people need cars. We may come to a point where this inflation gets so insane that folks are just spending that cash on repairing or replacing parts of their cars and just doing long-term maintenance to keep them running. Yeah. People's talking about the Snoop Dogg down there. Hi, buddy. You're a floor dog. You look completely dead. What's up with that? Are you completely dead down there? Huh? Are you? Yeah. Snoop Dogg? You're just so... He's like, his chest is barely even moving. He's like, oh, life sucks. Ennui. I'm not allowed to bark at people. Alright. Aaron Salentine, June 30 run, hard squeeze. The June 3rd is that's the date all those Chinese bonds are supposed to not be able to count as assets under management, right? Unless they kick the can down the road again. A lot of can kicking all around, just can kicking constantly. Oh, do. Houston, why are macadamia nuts so expensive? They grow on one type of tree. You have to wait for them to fall on the ground. You can't pick them. And then they're really hard to crack. I think that's why. And most of the macadamia nuts, like in the U.S., come from the Big Island. There's a big macadamia nut plantation south of Hilo. But where are they? Where are they from originally? Macadamia nuts. Give me the Wikipedia on macadamia nuts. Macadamia. There we go. So edible nut, indigenous to Australia. New South Wales is where they're from originally. How about that? 160,000 tons was the global production 2015. It was first commercially produced in wide scale in Hawaii. Interesting. South Africa has been the world's largest producer since 2010. Well, there you go. Learn something new every day. But apparently it's very hard to get open. Yeah. Huh. So I don't know why they're more expensive beyond that. Hawaii mac nuts. I think they're okay. I don't go out of my way to eat mac nuts, but if you go to Hawaii, you're supposed to bring back everyone a little box of the chocolate covered ones, and that's just what you do. I can take it or leave it. June 9th is the divvy vote for GME. Okay, thank you, BTW brand. Yeah. And Daphne says her daughter is selling her 2008 Trailblazer before she moved to Spain. How much she listed for? $105,000? That should be good, right? Javel Clay, how long do you think it will take the SEC to unwind things and pay people out after MOAS? The SEC won't have anything to do with that. It's going to be Federal Reserve and the Treasury that's going to be doing that. So the SEC is just going to go, oh my God, and they're going to have to pick through everything and do forensic investigations and then recommend the DOJ to help them out in certain investigations. But the SEC isn't going to be doing any of the paying. They're just going to be like holding clipboards while they watch the train accident. That's what their job's going to be. B2B brand, Houston, any opinion on Fidelity routing all their lit market orders for GME, AMC through their dark pool routing and doing so for some time in the past when traders marked them to go through lit market? I saw a blurb about that, but all I saw was a tweet saying someone was complaining about that, but I didn't hear any deeper story on it. That sounds shady. Fidelity shouldn't be doing that. But my guess is that Fidelity can't find the real shares in the lit market, so that's why they probably were like, oh, we should probably route this with a dark pool and get some fake shares at least. And there you go. More battery talk, lots of talk. Daphne also says, spoke to Fidelity today. You can place limit sells no higher than 500% of what the stock is trading for. Yep. It used to be 50% higher. So they upped that thinking they did everyone a good service, but they didn't. They just need to let people sell them for whatever they want to sell them for. Right? So do it. Just let them. Let people use the market the way they want to use the market. If they think it's worth that much, they should be allowed to sell it for that much. And I can go take my car and put it down in the corner and list it for $1 million. I doubt anyone's gonna come buy it for that much, but that's how much I want for it. So I'm allowed to go put $1 million price tag on that car. So why can't I put $1 million price tag on my stock that I think could be worth that much? Someone may or may not buy it, but I should be allowed to do that. Jim Houston, thoughts on Canada's Rare Earth Elements Initiative? I hadn't heard about the Rare Earth Elements Initiative. Are they setting up a mining program, a state-sponsored mining program to get rare earths so they don't depend on China anymore? The United States government keeps trying to do that, but then we leave it to private industry to do all the investment, and then no one invests in it because China starts underselling them. We may need some sort of governmental backing to help keep these mines up and running, because I think it's a matter of national security for Western nations to have access to these materials. That, like we're going to be building semiconductor plants here in the United States because it's a matter of national security that we have access to this stuff. We aren't dependent upon, shipping from overseas from possibly a hostile nation for that material. So it's in our best interest to have semiconductors. So why not also in our best interest to get the rare earth elements we need to make things like processors and rare earth magnets for hard drives and things like that. I got like 10 minutes, folks, and then I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. So I'm surprised. I'm glad 300 of you on a weeknight are joining me in here for the chit chats. BW Brand says hydroponics is very efficient for all needed nutrients. There you go. Somebody who knows more than I do. Diaz, you know why they call us GME Elites on this channel, right? Because we want to sell for a lot. All right. Most loss of fertilizers from runoff. That's true. Nitrogen-rich fertilizers are some of the biggest polluters we have, and thought to be the reason why. What's the disease called? It's a herpes for green sea turtles. HP. Something or other, paleomytosis. Can't remember what it's called, but they think it's connected to nitrate runoff into the salt water, and so the turtles start getting these like weird benign tumors all over them. Anything that's exposed, and it can affect their ability to like forage off of coral and stuff. And it seems to happen mostly in areas where there's golf courses and farming production, and there's lots of runoff into the ocean. And that turtles who live on islands that don't have any farming practices don't get those things. So they thought for a while it was like a herpes virus they got from people touching them. But now they think it's pretty much this nitrogen runoffs of fertilizers. Golf courses are big reasons for it. Pair turn, Houston. Met a short seller, waited at my car. GME sticker on my car. Guy chastised me about how retail is clueless and how he's worth millions. Got so animated, other people were looking at him. That's definitely somebody who's doomed. So if you are having a short hedge fund guy yell at you about how much he's worth and that you're screwed, then you know it's all projection. That he might have millions, but whose millions is it that he has? It's not his, it's somebody else's. So yeah. Tolly Targus. Hi, Houston. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Tolly. Okay. This dog's arrested. You tell him how much you look forward to spending his millions? That'd be great. How far am I behind? I'm only like 10 minutes behind right now. We're doing pretty well. So it's a small crowd tonight, so the chat isn't flying as fast as it normally does. Liz claiming I love Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a great place to get car parts. You aren't going to get like fancy upgrades, but you're going to get parts that fit your car. You replace the brakes, $50, boom, you got yourself rotors, you got yourself pads, you're good to go. You can get some really, really expensive. I did the suspension on my Aurora for like $30. Why not? Screaming deal. Cash for clunkers. Someone's talking about cash for clunkers. I remember cash for clunkers. Yeah, cash for clunkers eliminated not just a lot of used cars in the market, but eliminated a lot of really cool cars. There's people who had some bitchin' cars that they didn't realize were so bitchin', and then they got them all trashed to get like $1,000 or whatever back for them. It was lame. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Cash for Clunkers program. I get $1,000 for a car is probably worth like $6,000. What a dumb program. But the new car makers loved it because people had to go buy new cars. There's a huge glut of new cars too because the market collapsed and no one was buying anything. So it took a while for those things to get meted out through the market. BW Brand, just look at any charts comparing housing from 2008 and now. The mortgage-backed securities are absolutely tanking. More MBS charts. Let's see here. Just click on one of these guys. Give me a graph. Give me a graph. Give me a graph. Give me a graph. So, mortgage fixed 5.27%. Oof. Some places are over 6% right now. Ooh, yeah, you can see the dip happening here. Oh, I'm not showing you. Duh. That's one thing I forget to do. I forget to show you guys what I'm looking at. I just assume you can see what I'm seeing. But look at that. It is just falling off a cliff right now. It's just dropping. So look at the 5-year. Growing, and dropping. So we are at, so this is what, 2019? And all time, it only goes back 9 years. So we are at the lowest we've been since they've been recording this stuff for the UMBS. But all these mortgage-backed securities are falling. Look at that. That's just falling off a cliff, man. That is asymptotic. So Thursday's rate trend is positive. Really? It's positive? No, it's red, buddy. 1A Auto. I've never used 1A Auto. They also work. They also have like original manufactured parts and storage and stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Where is? I just lost my chat again. Here we go. All right, people talking about buying cars. Good luck buying cars. Dog's freaking out down there. Having lots of dreams right now. But what do you guys think housing prices are going to look like by the end of summer? I'm betting we will have a noticeable drop in home prices by the end of summer. Like maybe a contraction of 15% or more. I think the housing bubble, the pin has hit that thing and has popped. And so I think we're going to start to see a glut of things on the market, and foreclosures are going to pick up. And anyone who has an adjustable rate mortgage right now is so screwed. They can't afford anything, so they are done. What you doing, big dog? What you doing over there? Yeah? Just going to lay down? Okay. All right. You have a good one. No Revolution 105. I heard people don't even look at homes. They just buy them. Yeah. There's a crazy thing going on now where people can sell homes and deny the ability for potential buyers to do home inspections, which is crazy. I remember when the market collapsed in like 2010, my best friend and his wife were looking for a house, and they found one. They really liked it a lot, and so they got a housing inspector, and people were like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And the housing inspector crawled into the house and discovered the house had burned down, and they were still using the original like framing that had been burned. Like, you know, these 6x6s that the house was on posts were like an inch wide and black and charred. And, you know, having the housing inspector paying them $400 and be like, yeah, don't buy this house. Save them $300,000 headache. So don't buy a home if you can't get an inspector. Unless you're buying at auction or something for pennies on the dollar. Like you should be allowed to have an inspector look at the house. Don't just buy it, because you're going to end up with like, I don't know, snakes. You guys ever hear about the snake house in Idaho, where the people discovered that there's like millions of snakes that just come and have sex in these people's homes? Yeah. So this is from a few years ago. Family bought a house that was totally cheap, $100,000. Cool, awesome, and it turns out that there's like millions of snakes that lived in a hole in the ground under the house, and they would just have sex everywhere constantly. So I think the house, they just abandoned the house, and now it's like a park or something. But yeah, bleh. Like, and toilets coming out of the ceilings and up to the floors and out of the holes in the oven and stuff. It's just snakes going at it. Get an inspector. Always get an inspector. Paratair in Houston, what industry do you see going to be most impacted from apes post-MOAS? Luxury cars? Yeah. I have no interest in buying new luxury cars. I like older ones with stick shifts. But yeah, the luxury market for sure will see a boost. But then again, there's going to be a whole bunch of luxury goods that'll be cheap for sale because hedge fund guys will be getting liquidated and losing their houses and stuff. And a lot of them might get arrested and be facing jail time. So look at the U.S. Marshal's Office auctions and see what they've got available. But I am sure a lot of us are going to reinvest into things we like, if not just the people we like. So, outset, my brain just says luxury goods at first, and after that will be what we want to invest in and share our wealth in the future. Shane Coombs, what's your thoughts on the mass resignations versus the mass baby boomers retiring when it comes to the low unemployment rate? Yeah. That and a lot of people can't work. So, we've lost 1 million or more Americans to COVID. We had 3 or 4 million boomers retire earlier than expected because they were like, I'm going to deal with this crap. We have a lot of people who are permanently injured from their COVID infections. Something like 11 to 13 million of them can't work. A lot of moms left the industry to take care of their kids during COVID. There's unemployment is really low, but there's fewer people employed than there was 3 years ago, because a lot of folks just can't look for work, or they don't need to. They found other things to do. I've talked about this, and I made a bunch of people mad when I talked about it. But like, I worked with a lady who had been a server, a restaurant server, getting yelled at and sexually harassed and whatever. And when the restaurants all shut down during the lockdown portion of COVID, she became an OnlyFans star and now makes like $100,000 a month. She's not going back to working in a restaurant. She doesn't need to. She makes more in a month than she would in 2 or 3 years of serving. So she's living the life. She works like 2 hours a week and takes pictures of herself, and then goes and hangs out in like Mexico and Turks and Caicos and Hawaii and stuff. So if I had a rockin' ass and great tits, I would do that in a heartbeat. But sadly, these A cups don't quite bring the bacon the way I'd like them to. But oh well. But yeah, a lot of folks have found new things to do. I mean, I'm doing different things. I discovered this YouTube thing. That's where a good portion of my income is coming from now. I'm not quite making like a living off of it, so I have to do other things still. But if I could ever get my shit together, I might be able to be in that range of one of those elite YouTubers who actually makes real money off of this. But that involves me being able to, remember to turn on the record button, which I forgot to do again. Damn it. I forgot to do the record button. And have the time to sit through and pull out chunks of the show and make little short clips. And I just haven't had that part yet. I haven't crossed that Rubicon. Okay. This might be it for me. It's late. I'm tired. I need some food. I'll see you guys on Friday for a regular Friday show. I'm hoping, maybe we'll get some interesting news here. Everyone's hoping for some 420 news, but we didn't really get any 420 news. So next date, fancy date with look for is May 4th, right? May the 4th be with you. So we'll look for that. But, yeah. That it? You guys have anything to add? You got anything to add in there, little dog? Huh? Yeah? No? Just sleepy dogs everywhere because late at night? All right. There you go. That's it. So, for all of you, from me to you. And again, thank you for the awesome shirt. This thing is fantastic with my monkey butt and Chula Batman on there. It's just the coolest. All right. Toodles. Bye-bye.